Yo, 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 what's up? Big Game James in the house, man. Turn this down a little bit. Gonna talk some safeties today. Chris Graham, Michael Autry, KD, I Love Weed, Blake, Tavis, my peoples, T Smooth TV, KD. Let's go. Let's get it, man. I just want to jump in here right quick. Ain't been on live in a few days. You know, we talked about on my page, I've talked about the positional positions of each one of defense. We've been going through defensive line. We did defensive line. We did linebacker. We did corner. Now we're doing safety. Strictly safety, people. We did linebackers. Go check the linebacker video. Go check the defensive line video. Go check the cornerback video. But today, we're doing safeties. Right now, for me, I can't give you that DC. I haven't really studied these safeties like that or the corners because of what's up, David Jenkins, because of the need for the offensive line, defensive line, and linebackers. But if we're just talking off rip, I did see a little bit of Daxton Hill over Jaquan Brisket. So for me, watching more of Daxton Hill, I would say I would like him. A lot of people are talking about he may slide to Dallas at 24. Petrie as well is another guy that's been mentioned, and I'm going to show these tape of some of these guys, not to tape, but some of the guys that are out there. But for me, you know, we're going to talk about the safeties that we have here, and I think if you re-sign the safeties that you have here, maybe you don't jump out there and grab one of them guys and maybe you get somebody later. Or if you want to be, proactive, you can draft a safety early and still sign Malik Hooker, has already talked about that. You feel me? But there's some safety options out there. I don't think it's a stupid, crazy, great safety class, but there's some guys that out there can definitely help the team. And I think you don't have to jump out there in the first round to grab them. In my opinion, you don't have to do that. I think you can get some other guys out there. But let's jump right to the board right quick. But hold on right quick as I do that. Shout out to my dog John Jones for the $5 holla. Hey ho for the $5 holla. Hold on 1 minute. Pull these safeties up. Keep on coming in the building while I'm pulling this up. There we go. Yeah, we can see those guys. I meant to see you guys mention already some of these few players. What's up, Will Prosper? What's good with you? Definitely got to re-sign Curse. Let's see here. I got some names up here, but hold on. You might see some stuff coming up here. Froze a little bit. What's good with you? What's good with you? I'm just waiting for some things to come up if it froze a little bit. All right. There we go. Just getting some stuff together right quick. because I said we was talking safeties. I'm pulling. Sorry about that. Just waiting for some stuff to pull up. All right, there we go. All right. So it's a little bit slow and it's a little bit behind. You'll see some names that come up here. There's a lot of guys that y'all been talking about. Daxton Hill, Jalen Petrie, Jaquan Brisket. Those are some names that have already been mentioned out there. Like I said, we're going to deal strictly with the safeties today, and I know it's a little bit behind right there. Y'all catching up, so I have been doing a little back and forth. But what I want to show you is this when this comes up. Basically the there we go. So basically when I brought up the safety position, I put up, well, who will be next? Now that Dan Quinn is back in the fold, Curse resigns. What's the outlook for Malik Hooker? I think Curse and both Malik Hooker should be brought back. What happens to Mukamu? Does he stay at safety? The current safeties are on the roster that are signed. I don't know if Tyler Coyle is still on the team, but I do know Donovan Wilson is signed for one more year. Okay? Yeah, I'm cool on DeMonte KZ as well. But when I'm just looking at here right now, the biggest thing with me, we're going to go to some stats right quick, but the biggest thing with me is Dan Quinn coming back in the fold. Dan Quinn came over here and initially he brought DeMonte KZ. I don't think the KZ played bad and was terrible with the Dallas Cowboys, but obviously he probably wasn't the guy that you're looking at going forward in the long haul. Unrestricted free agents are DeMonte KZ, Malik Hooker, J-Ron Curse, Darian Thompson. I'm cool on Thompson. You got a special teams guy and on CJ Goodwin. I think you can freak that. I think the Darian Thompson thing has kind of just went past its way. But you got those three guys that you still have available. To me, J-Ron Curse, I think a lot of people have said it, and Malik Hooker are the most, to me, responsible things to go with this. If you have Stephen Jones, what's up, Jay Lombardi? What's up with you, dog? If you have if you have J-Ron Curse and you have Malik Hooker, okay, looking at both of these guys right here, and I was looking at the safety market, and here's the thing. You can make this happen right here. Here's some stats that we're going to pull up. And then we're going to get to some numbers here, but just looking at the stats for J-Ron Curse, we saw what he did. 27 years old, not old at all, started 15 games, wasn't that bad in coverage, 61% completion percentage against him. But, man, he was a guy that made a lot of tackles, over 100 tackles this year, was a guy that kind of came out of nowhere. Wasn't really the guy in Minnesota, although he played games. Wasn't the guy in Detroit, but that was his best tick. He played 11 games, started 7 over in Detroit, played really well. But when he came over to Dallas, kind of found his niche over in Dallas, man. He kind of just took off. Dan Quinn gave him the green dot. He was a good enforcer for us, could play a variety of roles, played the big nickel, was playing the big linebacker for the Cowboys in those nickel 4-2-5. And, he could come to the line of scrimmage. He could match up with the safeties. You could blitz him. You were seeing them sending them with blitzes on him. They blitzed him 24 times. He was almost the third leading blitzer behind Micah Parsons and Van Der Esch. And Van Der Esch is not a crazy blitzer. So you see what he really did. And just the pressure that he would put in the backfield, and I really love what he brought to the table. Box Cowboy talked about J-Ron Curse. I said I thought special teams was just going to be the thing. I didn't think they would really give Curse a chance, knowing how the Cowboys do it. But Dan Quinn, J-Ron Curse kind of wrapped it up. They kind of rolled with it. It was a beautiful thing, and you saw what he really did with the team this year. And, it makes sense to bring him back, especially when we go right here. Where is that at? Let's see. Especially if we go right here. Let's go up. We'll go back to me. And then we're going to pull up why J-Ron Curse can definitely be signed, especially when you do these restructures, man. it can definitely work with the restructures. For real. Where is it at? I'm pulling up these numbers right here. Hold on. What's up, Texas Bread? I'm just pulling up these strong safeties to show where J-Ron Curse can definitely be re-signed. Yeah, Anthony Harris is back on the market, but Cowboys ain't gonna deal with him. Let's keep it real. They're not. They're not gonna do that at all. But if we're just talking about right now, when we're looking at the safety market, when you're talking about Anthony Harris, he left the Minnesota Vikings and they didn't sign him to a lot of money over there in Philly. I mean, he just got the 1 year deal, $4 million. I don't think the Cowboys looked that route. If the Cowboys and Stephen Jones is always talking about we want to sign our own, we want to build through the draft, we want to sign our own, this is a perfect opportunity to say we're signing our own, we're building through the draft. You got a guy who stepped up in your 1 year in J-Ron Curse. He played the strong safety position, played multiple positions, got over 100 tackles, got the green dot. Dan Quinn is staying. I felt if Dan Quinn left, like maybe if he entertained the Bears and some other teams, Bears could have been a team where I could see Curse going with him and playing with him and be able to be a functional safety over there in Chicago. But now that Dan Quinn is back in the fold, I think that really keeps a J-Ron Curse here in Dallas. And I also think that it's definitely signable for him because when we switch over and we look at the numbers for the strong safety in the market, it's okay. I don't see where you can't re-sign him. The top strong safety right now is Quadre Diggs, 29 years old, making $6 million a year. Kareem Jackson, $5 million. Count O'Neal, we've got him a linebacker, but look, you see with it there. Daniel Sorensen, he's not a great safety at all, $2 million. So you see Jeff Heath is even on there when, he played a little bit with, he was with New Orleans. Wow, that's crazy. But you can see right there when it comes up that you can sign a J-Ron Curse. The strong safety market isn't a big market where you're going to spend all kind of money. It's not going to be that. So that's why you can definitely squeeze this in, Stephen Baby Nuts Jones. You can definitely make this signing right here. This is a signing that you can definitely make with the J-Ron Curse because the safety market isn't a big market even per year, market value. And going from a payday where you haven't had a really big payday regardless, this would be an okay time where you could definitely do it. This could definitely happen for you. Let's see. As I said before, now look at those numbers. You can see the very end numbers when I was telling you about Diggs and those guys. This is a signable deal. This is a deal that you, in my opinion, you have to get done if you're trying to keep your core team together. If you're trying to keep the core team together, right, this is where you have to do it. This is to me, an easy signing. You don't have to let him go. You already got Dan Quinn to fold. He's 27 years old. A 4 year deal at the max. He'll be 31 years old. Probably in a couple years, you could see what it looks like in a couple years. So this is definitely a deal you can make happen. This is a definite signing that needs to be happening. And it gives you stability where you don't have to reach at a safety. I know a lot of you guys mentioned these safeties, and that would be great. I'm not against drafting a safety. I would like to address some other positions, because I think if you bring back the Malik Hooker and you bring back the Jaron Curse and you still have a Donovan Wilson in the fold and you find out what you maybe have in Mukamu, I think you're okay, and then you don't have to jump out and draft a safety out there in the first round. Maybe in the second round, third round, you can get one of those guys then. Because I feel like safety can drop in the draft. I don't feel like you have to overdraft a safety, and a good safety can fall to you later. So I don't feel like you have to do that in this particular case. So you saw the numbers right here. I don't know what, I'm not the contract guy, but when I'm looking at these deals for the strong safeties that are on the market and who's available, I definitely feel like you can re-sign a Jaron Curse to a very respectable deal, a 3 to 4 year deal where the Cowboys and Curse are both happy, and you have somebody who can continue to be a leader on your defense and groom the young guys when you bring in. I definitely feel like that can happen. What up, Texas Bread? As I said before, so that's a definitely deal that can make happen. And then I made a post about Malik Hooker. I'm gonna get him up here. I posted him. I'm gonna show this. Slide this. Did I show that, baby? I don't think I have it up here. I can go to my Twitter. But basically, what I was saying about, I'm gonna pull it up though so you can see it. Shout out to my cousin right there. He's narrowing down his stuff to Michigan State and LSU. But let's go to this Malik Hooker thing, and I want to show you this thing that I showed on here. Why you need to bring back a Malik Hooker. He's 25 years old. I made the comparison on him. I'm going to get to my Twitter right quick. Boop, 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 boop. Shout out. Go follow me on Twitter if you like. Smash some food right there. Where we at? There we go. So let's go to this right quick. Yeah, I'd rather not deal with the rookie right quick. But when we're looking at it right here, when it comes up, what's up, Tyrone? Just call on Tyrone. I'm gonna give Tyrone the full props on this, as my big game James will come up. He called all this. What's up with your sugar daddy? He called all the Malik Hooker thing. He had been talking about Malik Hooker a year before Malik Hooker even came into existence. You feel me? So shout out to my dog Tyrone Church. Just call on Tyrone for calling the Malik Hooker thing all 100 to you. But I made this post about Malik Hooker and why you need to bring him back. He's only 25 years old, 25.6 years old, so he's going to be going on 26, but he's still young because he doesn't have a lot of tread on the tires because of injuries. And you really wanted to sign him to that 1 year deal because you wanted to see how if he was going to be healthy. What's up, Michael Autry? He said, if he's going to be healthy, is he going to be healthy? He showed you this year he is healthy. He was healthy. And you showed at the end of the year when he started really getting his legs up underneath him how healthy he could be and what kind of an asset it could be to the team. So I made this post, as you look on the Twitter right now, on my Twitter page. Safety Malik Hooker. His best season was 2019. Okay? His best season was 2019. 51 tackles, 3 passes defense, 2 interceptions in 2019. 13 games started in that season. In 15 games played with the Dallas Cowboys, only 3 started, y'all. Only 3 started. 44 tackles, 2 passes defense, 1 interception. He's 6'2", 215 pounds. He has the size. He has the range. He was a dog. We wanted him when he came out of Ohio State, but we knew we couldn't get him because he was going to be a high draft pick. So now you wanted him back in the day. He comes back to you in a great way, and After that first year, he shows you he's healthy. He shows you can stay healthy for one single year, which you wanted to see if he could stay healthy. And then after he stays healthy, he has a pretty good year. His best season was 51 tackles and 13 games started. 15 games, only 3 games started. He had 44 tackles. That's pretty damn good. And he had an interception. You start seeing the playmaking ability, and I definitely feel like that's a signing that you can sign under your cap. You need to make that happen, Stephen Baby Nuts Jones. If 2 people you need to re-sign, if you're talking about, oh, we want to sign our own, and we ain't trying to go out there and break the bank on free agency, whatever. These 2 guys right here that you see on the board, well, not KZ, but Curse and Hooker, you need to sign. Curse is 27, Malik Hooker is 25, going on 26. They are able to make this happen. You are able to do this. You can make this happen, especially if you do that damn restructure that y'all love doing over there in Dallas. So make those 2, bring those 2 back. Then you don't have to jump. Then you don't have to jump out there and reach for a safety. Yes, there's some good guys on there. I'm gonna pull those guys up. There's some good guys on the board. Okay, there are some good, nice guys. I'm not hating on that. You feel me? I'm not hating on the guys on the board. But in my opinion, why do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why jump out there and do that when you got guys that you can sign? They're not old. These are not 31, 32-year-olds. These are in their mid-20s, and they're in their prime years. So get these guys in their prime years and then draft a safety maybe in the 3rd or 4th round, and you don't feel that, and you can hit your other needs, because I feel like that curbs the need for safety if you bring both of those guys back in the fold. Let me see. Let me see here. So let's go to these guys, because I know you want to look at them. So these are some of the names I know you guys kind of mentioned out there that are out there in these streets. Daxton Hill, safety, corner, played the slot a lot this past year. 6 foot, 192 pounds. Jalen Petrie from Baylor, senior, 6 foot, 197 pounds. Both these guys have good size. Jaquan Brisker, also from Penn State, 6 foot 1, 200 pounds, senior. All these guys have good size where you like. Another guy that can slip later on, Verone McKinney. That's a guy that I say keep an eye on. Kirby Joseph, another guy that people have mentioned. But I like the Vernon McKinley guy. I just got to look at him at Oregon. I like what he brings to the table, and he's hella young. But there's guys, like I said before, that when we're looking at this list, when it pops up, you don't have to reach for none of these guys. And, yes, I know that the Daxton Hill and the Jalen Petrie and those guys, but I don't think this is a time that you can, if you have one of those guys available and then you have a class act linebacker or offensive lineman, I don't think you need to jump out there and draft or safety. I don't feel that safety need is as big as need as it used to be in years past, because especially if you bring the hit that I cannot hate on them, Will McClay, whoever really hit on bringing in those free agents in Hooker and J-Ron Curse. They really hit on that. So now I feel like you don't have to overreach in the draft, because you can bring these two back in reasonable contracts in 3 or 4 year deals, each of them. Now, Malik Hooker might want some more money, just because of his age, and he was a high draft pick. So his agent may come higher than a J-Ron Curse, because J-Ron Curse was a 7th rounder. He never really had a big contract, never was a starter guy. So that's why I feel like you can bring him back and sign him to a good deal. Where a Malik Hooker may try to say, well, I was a number 1 draft pick. I'm not a number 1 draft pick. I was a first rounder. I was a high draft pick. So the only thing that really hurt me from really getting big money or being a starter in this league has been my injuries. I proved after 1 year in Dallas that I could be healthy. You saw what I could do in 15 games. I only started 3 and almost had my best numbers in 2019. So Malik Hooker may try to command agent, things of that nature, may jump out there and want more money, and teams may look at that and say, hey, he wasn't, you knew about Malik Hooker in the streets, and people really just wonder if he could stay healthy. So Malik Hooker may be the tricky guy for the simple fact that he was a higher draft pick. He may want to command more money. But if you can make that happen, Stephen Jones, and you're talking about signing your own, I think that's a deal that you definitely have to make happen, because you don't have to feel like you're starting over. You don't have to feel like you're reaching for some guys. You don't have to feel like you're jumping out there. And you still have a Donovan Wilson. You feel me? You have, Hooker was injury prone, but I just said he stayed healthy the whole year. You feel me? That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's why they only signed him to the 1 year. They wanted to see if he could stay healthy. So he wasn't injury prone this year, and he got better as the season went on. And if you had him as you're free, because KZ was, I liked KZ as far as what he brought to the table with his size. He laid the wood on you, dog, and he was a little dude. So I like that. But you got Hooker, who will lay the wood on you too. Coming downhill was nice, but he's 6'2", 215. You got Curse, who's 6'4". And here's the thing. Dan Quinn loves the tall, long guys. So both of these guys fit your bill, and rejoining the team and being here on a longer term basis, especially when Dan Quinn's probably going to be here longer than the next year as well, because of what Jerry said. So these are 2 guys that makes the most sense in bringing back and signing, more than anything. So, it's pretty easy with the safety position. You got Donovan Wilson. He was in and out of the lineup with injuries. I said he would be a little bit injury prone because he plays with the reckless abandon. I don't feel like his body is built for the type of hitting that he likes to do. 6 foot, he's under 200 pounds. I just feel like his body can't hold up, and I just feel like you can mix and match him, and he's coming up on his end of his deal. But you got 1 more year of him. You can bring back Curse. You can bring back Hooker. You got 1 more year deal on Wilson, and you have Mukama, who you can see if you want to keep him as safety. So you got 4 safeties right there. So therefore, you don't have to jump out and say, oh, safety's a huge need right now. You don't have to do that. So that's why I feel like, that's something that you want to keep your eye on going forward, especially in the draft. And I really don't feel like the Cowboys are going to jump out there in free agency, especially with the safety position. I don't feel like they're going to jump out there and do that. I have a little list that I put up. But I just don't feel like they're going to jump out there and really touch the free agency, especially when you got guys that already did something for you. I put some names up there, but I don't think they're going to do anything. I really don't. Now, here's some names that I put out there. If you by chance don't re-sign a J-Ron Curse, which would be a big mistake, because you can. I think he's definitely going to be signable. It'll work. And then if you lose out on Hooker, here's some names that could be of interest for the Cowboys. Anthony Harris was mentioned. LaMarcus Joyner, Terrell Edmonds. I think he could be a real guy, maybe. But these guys are going to want some money. Jabril Peppers, he's definitely a guy that could be looked at if you don't bring a guy back. But he's going to want some money. And I heard the value for him was talking about 13 to 14 million per. That's not. Stephen Jones is not going to spend that. You know what I mean? Yeah, his angling was supposed to. I just feel like they want the bigger safety anyway. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the route they want to go. They want to stay on that size. That's what they really want to do more than anything else. So I think they really want to stay with that size, and I think it just makes more sense for if they're going to go with size as Hooker and Curse to go in the fold, because you can mix and match those guys and you can do a variety of things with them. But as you can see, that little short list, I don't think they even go out there, because as I said before, if Stephen Jones is going to stay true to Stein in his own and not really jumping out there, then, and you saw how well Quinn worked with these dudes, and it's a situation where you already had the failure from last year, and how many times are you going to have a year that they had on the defense where you're getting that many turnovers, unless Quinn comes in and really makes a staple of that. This is what we bring to the defense every single year. We are always going to be a turnover type team. We're always going to get takeaways. That's what we're going to do. So if that becomes the norm in Dallas, then we can say, yeah, we can see this possibly happen every year. But that hasn't happened in Dallas in a very long time. 2014 was the last time that you saw a lot of turnovers from the Cowboys. And then even, as I said, they were like 1 and 2 in the turnover index, and that hadn't since the 90s. So it's very far and few, unless you become a staple of turnover type defense, that you're not going to see that every year. So if this is the type of defense that you want to bring to the table, or this is the type of defense that you want to say, hey, when you come into this program, this is the type of defense that you're going to be under, then you need to keep these guys, especially Hooker and Curse, in the fold, because they're young enough, they're building blocks, and you can groom young players after them in a couple years if you don't want to go with them. DC, you said, could you sing us bringing back Neal as a depth as a linebacker? I don't know, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Neal was a disappointment with Dallas. I feel like you got Cox coming back. I feel like I believe if they release him after June 1st, they can save $2 million. I don't feel like they bring him back. And if they can save a $2 million from what it said on my end, they'll save that $2 million, move on, and draft a couple of linebackers. I just feel like, they don't stay that route. I don't feel like Neal was a great asset for the Cowboys, so I feel like they move on and try to save some money if they can from him. Any questions before I head up out of here? Any questions before I head up out of here? Yeah, I don't trip on that stuff with Diggs, man. A lot of corners are going to give up yards, bro. Like, you know how hard it is to play cornerback in the NFL? You saw what was happening to Jalen Ramsey. Jamar Chase was cooking him. So, you know what I mean? It's just, that's what it is, bro. I don't trip off that. What's up, the Reaper? I think the safety position was I think that was the easier when we looked at the defensive line as far as the positions. The defensive line, the linebacker, corner, and safety. I feel like safety and corner from the Cowboys' perspective, especially if you bring back Curse and Hooker, you're okay. You got about 8 corners under contract. You still can see what you have in Robinson. You can find flex Mukamu and see what you're going to do with him. So, I think that's going to work, and I feel like they're not going to reach for those two positions. I think they're really going to try to address linebacker in the defensive line and maybe try to hit a safety later. And if a corner is out there, unless somebody crazy like they were talking about Derek Stingley Jr. Crazily dropping until the 24th, if that happened, then yeah, I could see them jumping out there. Why wouldn't you? And then you figure it out after that, because you just can't lose players like that can really change the game for you. So we'll see. Go check out the linebacker video I did on LVE. I said I was cool with bringing LVE back for a 2 or 3 year deal. You don't have to sign him to a crazy deal, and you can still draft linebackers. I don't know why everybody was hating on him. You really need to watch tape. and say LVE didn't play as bad as you say. And I think a lot of people just piggyback off of LVE is trash, and they don't actually watch the tape on LVE, and they say he didn't play good. But at the end of the season, especially the last 4 games of the season, I thought he played really well, especially when he finally got somebody could put a body up front in Gallimore. And he's not a true one tech. And, once he could hold some space and hold a couple double team for a few to keep LVE free, yes, LVE played a lot better. So, people saying, LVE's trash, ain't no good. I just feel like a lot of people don't really watch tape, and a lot of people really just don't say anything. They just want to listen to some people on Twitter or, 4 or 5 people say it in the air, and then they're lazy and they don't want to go look for themselves and say, LVE is really working. And then they sit there and say he's trash, and that's not true. He's not going to have a high market, I don't believe, in free agency, but it won't be a terrible market for him. He's 25, 26 years old. He has good size. Teams will look at that with him and think, hey, he can do something. They were saying Cheeto was trash. Cheeto was not trash. He wasn't a top-tier corner, but he wasn't a trash corner. He got with the team, went to the Super Bowl. We aren't going to sit and say Cheeto was the sole reason why the defense got better, but we will say he was definitely a serviceable corner, and I feel like LVE is the same thing. And if you can sign him to a deal and it's not breaking the bank, I don't know why you wouldn't bring him back, especially if you got a space heater up front. You will see LVE is not a terrible player, and he will continue to get better. So yeah, I don't agree with the LVE is trash thing. What up, Danny Woods? Yeah, I mean, like I said, if Stingley dropped, you'd be nuts not to take him. I mean, I'm telling you, LVE is not a bad player, especially when he could get somebody. I mean, he struggled with these things in college. Anybody who watched his tape about LVE, he struggled with these same things when he was in college. When he was at Boise State, he struggled with these same things, getting off blocks, shedding, grabbing and shedding these blockers. It was the truth. He was having those problems in college. That's one of the things I brought up, was that he was having the problems. He wasn't a physical backer. He's still not a super physical backer, but he has good speed. He can cover, and I just don't believe this stuff out there that LVE is garbage. And as I said, when you saw Gallimore come back, he played better because that was somebody that could space and hold a couple guys and keep him free. And if you draft a guy like Travis Jones that I had in my mock draft, or if they went Jordan Davis, but I definitely like Travis Jones from UConn because he's a space eater and he can pressure the ball and he holds up the point of attack. And when LVE stays free, he makes plays. I think they already did, David. You say, will they bring in another kicker for competition? I think they already did. I can't remember his name. I think he's a young kicker. I can't remember his name, but I believe they already brought in a kicker to go against Zerline. And, bro, if you can cut him and save $2 million, $2.5 million, that's a no-brainer. You can always find a field goal kicker. I don't care what you say. Well, because DC people are going to look at Stingley like, he had an all-world freshman year. Then the next 2 years he was had a lot of injuries, didn't play as well. And they will nitpick your game. After you have a crazy year in any college year, and they have enough time to look at you, they're always going to nitpick and pull out your bad stuff by the time the draft comes. So my thing is, that's cool. Let him fall. If he falls, Cowboys scoop him up. He's supposed to be. You ain't lying, Sugar Daddy. And Ray Lewis said himself, y'all want me to continue to be a great linebacker? You need somebody up front. They were running a 3-4 front. They had Saragusa. They had Sam Adams. They had Holy Aganada. What's up, Chris Davis? They had those guys to keep those linebackers free that were so good. I mean, when they had Ray Lewis, when he had those 4 core backers, I can't remember their names right now, but there was dogs with them. Ardellis Thomas. I mean, they had linebackers, but the reason why those linebackers were so damn good because them front guys kept them free. And when you got those guys that can keep you free, it does help you as a linebacker. Do you need to be able to shed those linemen? Yes. Do you need to be able to get around them? Yes. But it's also the starts up front. And when you get that front that can hold that point of attack and let your linebackers free. Now, if they're holding the point of attack and they're not making the plays, then that's when you have to worry. But, yeah, they need to make that happen. Yeah, I'm glad Dallas didn't take Caleb Farley, boy. Any other questions? Make sure you got to hit my guy up today, Philly Podcast. We're going to be doing our draft tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. as we do. We'll be talking more draft. We might do another mock draft. I'm going to probably get a mock draft popping. I did a few. Let me just show you my one. Haloti, nada. Yeah. Let me show you my one mock draft I did, though. I thought I liked this mock draft. I didn't mean to pick that quarterback at the end because it was weird, my phone. But I liked my mock draft. Keep it all the way real. Where's that joker at? I don't think this was a bad draft. People was trying to hate, but people always trying to hate. But I feel like we're right here. Somebody mentioned Bernard Raymond being 25. Okay, but you know what? That's cool. I get it. But you know what? When I look at this draft that I did right here, I did about 5 mock drafts so far. Being bored, this was on PFF. When I look at this right here, trust me, Bernard Raymond in that Senior Bowl, he was the best tackle there, left tackle, and he has the athletic ability, he has the size, he's good. And I mentioned about Tyron Smith, and I can go up here and show it. Tyron Smith hasn't had a 16-game season since 2015. And he said he was the healthiest he's ever been the last 3 years, and he still be hurt. And he played 11 games this year. They played 17. He missed 6. I know it wasn't because of the back or neck, but it don't matter. He gets hurt. And I know he's good, but, bro, you got to do that. Well, you seen there, Reaper. It's going to pull up. You see when I draft a receiver, I doubt that he falls that far, Calvin Austin. But I ain't going to lie. If a receiver was there early, I would take one, but I would have to have top guys leave. Ultimately, I wouldn't mind to get a receiver around that 4th and 5th round because I feel like I could squeeze one right there. So if you're asking me that question, I wouldn't the Reaper 4th, 5th round for real. What about the play calling? Do you think Kellen Moore would get it right? I can't answer that. I hope he does. That's all I can pray. I hope he does because they're putting all their eggs in him. The Joneses love him, especially Stephen Jones. So hopefully, something to work out with that. I can't say what they're really going to do with that. But you see that space eater right there, Travis Jones. He's a great pick if the Cowboys would get him in that 2nd round. And I have been on that boy Mafe train from A1 day one. Not A1 day one, but when I first heard about him in that Senior Bowl, I'm all about that. That's cool. I'm not mad at Raymond, but, I saw him in that Senior Bowl, and he was a lot better. And he's one of the better tackles out there, especially coming out. So I'm going to stay with that. I would take him, and especially a lot of guys were gone, and I feel like they need to address that tackle position now. I'm tired of them saying let's hold off another year and let's rely on Tyron because if they do keep it the way it is and he gets hurt again and they don't move Leo Collins to left guard and he's still out there, then you're going to, what up, Aloha, Kramer, what's going on? But if they don't move him, then it's going to be Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele is better right tackle than left, so we'll see. And then you still got the kid came out from Marshall but didn't play, so we'll see about that. You know what I mean? We'll see with that. But I don't think this is a bad draft at all. I'm cool with Raymond at the tackle. Travis Jones, I'm definitely feeling him at the 2nd round. Boy, Mafe, that's a edge guy who can play multiple positions for you. Darian Beavers, I liked him in Cincinnati. 6'4", 250-pound linebacker, can cover too. Jake Ferguson, sneaky, great hands. Calvin Austin, burner, little but a burner. And the EJ Perry, let's just say we picked a safety right there. And the main reason why I went with the tackle in the first spot, though, because that was contingent on, if you see my notes right there where I said, you got to read the notes that I said, is two things. First, I'm moving Collins back to left guard, thus no guards picked. I have my first tackle of my tackle of the future in Raymond. I believe that. Second round, I didn't pick a QB at the end. My screen is sensitive and does what it wants. Didn't draft a safety because I'm re-signing Malik Hooker. So I feel like that's how that all worked out. Any other questions for me before I get up off here? We need to prepare for that, Sugar Daddy. Feel me? I mean, he gets hurt every year. He's guaranteed to get appreciate you, Reaper. He's guaranteed to miss about 3 to 4 games every year, man. How long the Cowboys going to be held hostage with that? What up, Mel Hayes? You're going to have to run it back, dog. Run it back. But how long that the Cowboys have to keep on saying, well, we'll wait another year for Tyron Smith and wait for another tackle? I feel like this is a year that you can scoop a tackle. And so what if you grab in the first round and Tyron's playing? Prepare him for them games when he gets hurt, so you have that rookie slide right in, and you giving him experience, and if something goes down, you don't feel bad, dog. Yeah, and I'm hoping Simi steps up as well. I forgot about Simi Fehoko. Simi Fehoko definitely needs to step up. Year 2 for Simi Fehoko is going to be an important year for him. Very important year. I don't know about middle linebacker for Dean Kramer. I think he's a little too small in my opinion. I like some other linebackers. I'm gonna keep it real. You know, Jacoby Dean has that sideline to sideline, but I keep on looking at the front that he had and Wyatt and Jordan Davis. I mean, they made him look really good when they were holding up that front like that. I like him, but I like Channing Tindall better. That's just me. I think he offers more, and I know he was only a 1-year player. But I like Tindall. I like Damone Clark. I like Chad Muma. I like the Troy Anderson kid. I like Darian Beavers. I'm not saying Dean is below those guys, but I feel like you can get a linebacker later, and you don't have to jump out there and just say Dean is the guy. And Devin Lloyd, I'm out on him. I don't want Devin Lloyd. A lot of people are all on Devin Lloyd. I'm cool on Devin Lloyd. I like the other kids that I mentioned better. And here's my thing. I don't even say Tyron's got to go, but you got to prepare for him now. Josh Ball, I know he played left tackle, and you want to see what he has. I heard he's a good player. One of my kids played with him at junior college, so he could be a guy. But I just feel like you got to address that tackle position now, man. You can't keep relying on this. And he's 31 years old, and to me, he's an old 31. He's not a young 31. His body's been through a lot. And as I said, you haven't had a healthy year since 2015. There's always some kind of injury. So, yeah, man, I just don't want to do that. I feel like you got to jump out there and get this tackle now and start preparing for this right now and stop relying on waiting on Tyron Smith one more year thing. I can't keep seeing you do that. Running back, nah, I wouldn't get a running back till late if you did it. They got a kid that was was on the team last year. I'm sure y'all can bring his name up with me. But he got hurt. He tore up his knee. What was his name? I thought he was a good addition for the boys. But no, I wouldn't touch a running back till very late. They're going to run one more year with Ezekiel Elliott. I don't see where they were cutting him. I think they will be in the negative. They are not going to get any money for cutting Ezekiel Elliott this year. Next year, I believe they will get about $5 million if they cut him. So I wouldn't see them going that route. I think Ezekiel Elliott has one more year with the Cowboys. And we'll see what happens to Tony Pollard. Maybe he gets more touches because this is the last year of his deal. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. Vasher is cool. I ain't gonna lie. One of this other kid, he was from Mississippi State, Dak Prescott School. He's like 6'5". They cut him. Oh, I didn't like that one. What was his name? Orion something. Man, I liked him. He had some good feet for his size too, and he had some little bit of wheels. Wish they didn't let him go. I think he could have been something with Dallas. Yeah, I feel you, Reaper, and that's why I mentioned. That's why you saw who I got drafted with, Calvin Austin, also Velus Jones Jr. from Tennessee. He's another guy that has return ability. I want to get a receiver that has receiver and return ability because I feel like you just need to take CD off. Now I feel like, because I was all for CD running punts, but he's just not a good punt returner. He's not electric with it. I don't feel like he's a guy that can really do anything with it. So just find somebody that can specialize in it. You don't have to worry about playing him there. Rico Dowdell. Yeah, Rico Dowdell's the guy. Oh, my nephew's good, David. He's visiting Michigan State and LSU this summer. I think he's narrowed his list to about 5 teams. I hope he goes to Notre Dame. I just feel in Notre Dame. I feel like Notre Dame would be a good college for him to play cornerback, good education. Notre Dame is on TV. They play a good schedule. I just feel like Notre Dame is a good place. I'm a Texas guy. I'm a Texas boy. I love to see him at University of Texas, but with all that stuff going on right now, I want him to go to a program that kind of, really would work for him. So, he's going to do what he does, and we'll be anticipating. It's his last year in high school. I really want him to turn up. Guyton didn't Geyer, lost in the state championship this year. But they'll be right back. They're loaded again, so we'll see what happens with that. Yes, Osiris Mitchell, DC, yes. That's what I was talking about. I like him. I don't think they should have got rid of him. They let him go, and they kept Vasher. Maybe they saw something in Vasher that I didn't see, but I think Osiris Mitchell was a guy. I'm not familiar with Jakeem Grant, so I apologize, Andre Ford. Any other things before I get up off here? Make sure you check in the show tomorrow, the draft show with me and my guy, Philly Podcast. We'll be getting it in, doing another live mock draft. We've been knocking them out, so we'll see how it goes. But make sure you tune into that. Once again, I told you my guy Brandon Tucker, who's got a nice little list of defensive ends, defensive tackles that he trains and gets ready for the combine every year and for the pro days. Definitely want to look at it. So definitely want to check that out. We'll see when he gets on here. It could be within a couple of days, but I love listening to his input and what he looks for and what the NFL looks for and what they're gonna be training for and things of that nature. So make sure you just check that out. We'll be going hard in the paint, with that, and really check out that draft show with me and my guy, the Philly Podcast tomorrow. It's gonna be a good thing. Gonna be going down. And then I'm going to be dropping some videos this week of some players that I like. I dropped Kenyon Green, N'Kobe Dean, and Devin Lloyd. Those are kind of like the guys. But now we're going to kind of break down some guys, those middle round guys, some other guys. So we're going to go ahead and make sure you support those videos that'll be coming out next week. The Channing Tendos, Damone Clark, all those videos hopefully will be getting out. Some guys that you kind of maybe not heard of, we'll get them videos as much as we can, and we'll see what happens. I can't tell you, life's crazy. I don't have a gut feeling of who they'll take. It's too far away. There's too many players. I think some players are going to drop in the draft that I don't think is going to drop. So it could be another BPA type of season, especially where they pick at 24. So we'll see. But I don't have a gut feeling who they would pick. I don't even think they know who they're going to pick. There's so many different choices right now. So I don't feel like the Cowboys have even narrowed in on who they want to go with, because I feel like this is a funny draft, and I feel like players are going to drop that they may not thought, just kind of like a CeeDee Lamb. So I think that's something that they need to prepare for and look for. Yeah, I'd rather put I'd rather put Collins at guard and start Steele at right tackle and give Steele a whole year at right tackle, a whole offseason at right tackle, knowing he's a starter, a whole offseason of La'el Collins at left guard, and then you can still draft. You know what I mean? But I think that's the move if you're trying to get your best players on the field right now. Instead of trying to experiment, get the best guys on the field right now. So I would do that. But if you don't move La'el Collins to a guard and you keep him at right tackle, you definitely feel like you got to address those the first 2 rounds at guard and hit that. But stop playing around with that. Move him back. I mean, I guess he got a good contract friendly for a right tackle, but guards don't get paid crazy money, I don't think. So it'll be okay. You got to put the best players in. Terrence Steele is owed that right tackle spot, especially what he's done. And I think he's going to continue to get better, man. I don't think he's a guy that, loafs or takes things lightly. He came in after his rookie year. He was undrafted and just got better and better. And he proved a lot of people wrong, including me. I definitely gave that man props. And I like the arrows pointing up. I think he's going to continue to get better. So you got to give him his chance. Yes, keep your ears out for him, dog. But I'm about to get out of here, folks. I really appreciate y'all, man. Love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Keep on supporting the channel. Keep on liking,